for them, this is maybe the single largest transaction they're ever going to have in their life. They may only buy one house.
My name is Kevin McIntosh, and this is The Closing Table, where we talk to experts about their experience in real estate all across the country. Let's go. Welcome back to The Closing Table. I am your host, Kevin C. McIntosh, and joining us on this episode, we have the pleasure of speaking with another top producing real estate professional, of course. We want to welcome Betsy Stoneburner to The Closing Table. How are you, Betsy?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for accepting our invitation, taking time out of your very busy day. We definitely like to acknowledge that. And we're going to get into real estate and what's going on in your market specifically. But first, we like to take the cool approach, starting off with an icebreaker I have for you called This or That. It's essentially two contradicting terms or phrases all related to real estate. And I just want you to have a little fun. Tell us which one you choose based off whatever merits, experience. And if you want, you can tell us why you chose it. You ready?
Okay, let's do it.
All right, let's do this. First one, investment property or primary residence?
Investment property all the way. Yep.
Okay.
You've got to build wealth.
I like that mentality right there.
Yep.
Furnished or unfurnished?
Unfurnished.
Really?
I have a vision for spaces, so for me, unfurnished.
Okay. I like that approach. Here's a curveball. Location or condition?
Condition. Buy the ugliest house on the block.
I like that. Networking or marketing?
Networking. Definitely. You want to treat people the best you can and build relationships. They'll treat you good in return.
I get that. I could agree. Last one. Knowledge of real estate laws and regulations or familiarity with local housing market trends?
Ooh, that's a good one. These days, got to know your laws. Things are always changing. Trends are, always changing too. But right now, real estate law is being pushed.
Okay, that's a different approach. Like that. You actually responded with a few answers that I like, opposite of what I thought you would. But that's interesting. I like that we start off like that.
I like it.
Thank you, Betsy. We appreciate that. Starting off loosey-goosey. Now, let's talk about you. In 60 seconds or less, Betsy, if you can tell us who you are outside of real estate, you have the floor.
Outside of real estate, I was born and raised in Kalamazoo. I'm from a large Greek family. So anyone that knows me, they always say, "Oh, did you go see the movie? Have you seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding?" And I say, "Yes, that's my life to a T." We have restaurants. We like to eat. We like to entertain. We love to feed people. So it fits us. I have two children, one in college at Grand Valley, my son, my daughter's in high school. My husband and I love to travel with our children. We've got a dog that my kids tease and say I love him more than I love them. I love to work. I love to sell real estate. That's my passion. So it's, they always say to find something you do and you won't work a day in your life. And I've found that passion and that love. So yeah.
Love that. All right. First off, I got to acknowledge I was born in Kalamazoo too. So that's my hometown. Got family there. Love it first and foremost. And I love that. So quick question. I'm familiar with the Kalamazoo Promise, which is still in effect, I believe.
It is.
So I'm assuming, did your children take advantage of that, or are they taking advantage of that?
They didn't. So it was... My children they had just started it after we had actually moved out of Kalamazoo.
Oh, okay.
And they were kind of settled. So we actually live outside of Kalamazoo.
Gotcha.
So it is what it is.
No, I get it.
But I was just asking. It's a great opportunity for people. And so, yeah, I've got a lot of clients that, they live for it, and it's wonderful. I love to see that it's still going strong.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's why I asked. I just know that it's a program out there that a lot of people like to benefit from, especially
Yes.
residents of Kalamazoo, but it also
Yes.
attracts a lot of people to that market too. So we'll get
Correct.
into more of the market. Before we even do that, let's talk about your market geographically. If you can describe your market first geographically, where you are, notable landmarks, and then get
Sure.
into what's going on economically with real estate if you have any
Sure.
statistics.
Everyone does the whole mitten thing, and it's
Yeah.
whatever. I think geographically for us, we're pretty unique because you can't drive within 10 minutes and not hit water.
Uh,
Pretty much. We're pretty fortunate that we have so many lakes, and we've got the Kalamazoo River. We've got rivers everywhere. We've got all of these different lakes, and we've got Gull Lake, which is huge, in other beautiful lakes. And so if you're a water person, that enjoys water sports, or just getting out, it's just such a beautiful area to enjoy, and there's so many different things to do,
mm.
and parks that you can go to the beach and just have a day out. That I think it makes us really unique, besides what everyone else always wants to talk about. And so I think that's something to be noted.
Nice, nice. Great. Okay, so what's going on real estate wise? Any statistics, any numbers for us?
It's these high interest rates have definitely changed the game a bit.
Mhm, mhm.
You always talk about buying power, and higher interest rates definitely cut into buying power,
Yeah.
substantially. They went up again. So we're seeing a lot of interest rates over 8%.
Mhm.
Um, and people that were looking a year and a half ago that still haven't bought, um, that could be the difference of $400 or $500 a month in a payment.
Correct. Correct.
So it's tough. It's hard to swallow. We're also seeing the cost of rent, though, substantially going
Mm,
up.
mm.
So it's pricing people out of affordability there. Um,
Wow.
so it's a catch-22. We definitely are in the need of affordable housing.
Correct.
Portage just approved a plan for, I think it was like 56 houses that are supposed to be affordable homes.
Okay.
Um, so that I'll be curious. I'm going to be watching that to see. I was just reading the article last week about that.
Mm.
What their version of affordable homes is. It didn't say. So,
Right.
um, because we have these people in this $250,000 market and less that desperately need a place to call home.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, the new starter price is 250 and above, which is mind blowing to me.
Really? Why
If
and why is that?
just cost of living's gone up. Kalamazoo has a lot going for it. Not just the promise. We've got
Mhm.
a lot of building and a lot of growth that has happened.
Mhm.
We've got Hinman building downtown. You've got high end condos and apartments downtown that have been built around where my family's restaurant is.
Mhm.
Those are already pre leased. They're full. Um,
Wow.
and I'm shocked at what people are paying. And people want to move downtown. It's growing substantially, which is
Mhm.
great.
Mhm.
Um, and we just can't keep up.
Yeah.
Um, so it's one of those things. We need affordable housing. We need a builder to come in and build a lot of affordable housing. And it's just, how do you make that happen?
Yeah, yeah, that's always the balance in a lot of markets for the most part.
Yep.
If we're talking about business wise, if if you're gonna charge, if you're able to build, lofts, condos, or whatever, and people are willing to pay
Right.
$1,500 a month, you're probably gonna go ahead and do that. But then at the opposite end,
Absolutely.
you're pricing out, like you said, you're pricing out people who've lived in this community in this city for a long time. So then how you kind of
And
find
they're the
that
soul of
balance?
the community.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I think tiny homes might be the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm.
tiny home
Hmm.
communities. I think people would flock to them.
Okay.
Again, you've got to get someone to build them and someone that would be willing to take a smaller profit margin.
Right. Right.
Um,
Then you have to have the land for that
you've got to have
also.
the land to do it, and you have to have the cities approve it.
Correct. Correct.
So it's a lot of hoops to jump through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I think people would love that. Not everyone wants a 2,000 square foot home with a basement.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yep.
just, a lot of these younger couples, single people, they would be happy with a 1 bedroom or a small 2 bedroom, 800 square foot. That's what they're renting now, anyways.
Right. Something they can call their own and, say that they
Exactly.
own it. Let me tell you something, Betsy. One thing I liked about what you just said altogether is not only did you identify some things that's going on, a problem with the housing affordability, but you also presented a solution unsolicited. You brought up the tiny home. And I like that. Some people just say, yeah, it's just getting bad out here. But you
Hmm.
actually say, you know what I think? I think tiny homes is a way to go. And we've explored tiny homes. We've explored the use of taking, those big trailer things, the semi trailer, and turning those into homes. So
Yep.
there's different ways of doing it, but you have to have the land, the city's approval and
Yes.
participation. Is a few different
Well, and
factors.
we've
So
gotten spoiled, right? Everyone has, so many people have gotten used to big paydays. And
yeah.
uh, we need to revamp our way of thinking
hmm
because this market's changing. So people either need to get on the train with that or get off.
Correct. Correct.
So
100%. 100%. I want to go back and talk about you say your family has a restaurant and I saw that too. But so your background in owning local restaurants, it obviously has to deal with a lot of people, customer service, So I would see that translating well into real estate. But can you talk about how you feel like your background in family restaurants and customer service translated into your exceptional service as a real estate
sure.
professional?
So my grandfather came here from Greece, and searching for something better, something more,
hmm
and was able to finally get into the restaurant business. And so we've had many restaurants over the course of my life, um, and it was just something that he felt very strongly about, serving the community, and he was so proud to become an American citizen. And so he really instilled that in all of the family, that you give back, and community service. And he really pushed that. So we all worked in the restaurants, we all helped, we all pooled together. And that was really his push and my grandmother's push to show us how important that was to be involved and know your community.
hmm
Um, and I just think it was just kind of a natural flow. I actually went to Western and had my teaching degree,
Okay.
which again is very community driven,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and just decided I needed to do something a little more hands on, which is how I got into real estate.
Gotcha.
Um, and I really haven't looked back a day since I started. I love it. Um, and my grandfather was always, we had in common the love of real estate as well. Anytime he could buy something, that was the American dream, to own property. And so we loved talking about real estate. And so I think I also got that bug from him.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Can you talk about how obviously you have to work with family. It's one thing just working with people in general that has a bunch of different personalities, but working with family is a different level, right? These are people that you already know, so it could be a whole nother level of difficulty. But nonetheless, you still have to work together. So can you talk about how your team-oriented mindset created a positive impact on your client's journey in the real estate market? You have any
Sure.
stories to
I
share with
think,
that?
yeah, real estate's very unique in, I've talked with other agents that we're close with, and it's, some days you feel like you're a therapist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We've dealt with a lot of estates, and those are very emotional. People are trying to go through their relatives' belongings, trying to deal with, well, what paperwork do I need? So not only are you kind of counseling them through it, you've got to become kind of the professional on, okay, what documents do they need? Who do they need to talk to? So, you're now a professional on that level. And they need to know you're on their team and that you're behind them and you're not going to just, set them up for what they need and then you're going to drop them. My husband laughs because he says your phone goes off at all times of the day or night. You get texts at, and I do. I'm guilty of it. I work during vacations, just because unfortunately it's the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
And they, for them, this is maybe the single largest transaction they're ever going to have in their life. They may only buy one house, and it may be I've done $10,000 transactions and I've done over $1 million transactions, and I treat them all the same because they're all just, for each of those individuals, they're still high anxiety, high stress a lot of times, and they still work just as hard for their money.
Yeah.
And so they all need to know you're in their corner, till the end, and they can still always pick up the phone and call me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. See, I have to call agents too, or I do call agents. I reach out to agents, just inviting them to the podcast and things of that nature. I recently called an agent who was on vacation. And, she told me, she said, hey, I'm on vacation right now. It's not a good time. And I was like, okay, I understand. Enjoy your time. But I was thinking in the back of my mind, why would you even pick up on vacation? Why would you even answer the phone? Why wouldn't you just forward it? But then I think about it, if you're passionate about it, or if you still want to, at least have that openness to clients or potential clients to let you know that you're always available, I can understand at least accepting the phone call. So
Right.
I kind of get that mindset, even though your family may not like it.
They've
I
gotten
get it.
used to
You're
it.
working,
It is.
and it's
it's nature of the beast. It's what you do. It's what you sign up for.
Absolutely. You talked about the fact that sometimes you're a therapist dealing with a lot of emotions when it comes to estate sales and things of that nature. You have any specific stories you can share of where someone had an emotional attachment to a property and you kind of had to talk them through the process of letting
Yeah,
go?
I've had multiples. I was, kind of looking through my client list, just kind of, it was fun kind of reminiscing too of, oh my gosh, I forgot about that person, or,
Yeah.
I forgot about this transaction. It's been 16 years. So you kind of forget about, some of the transactions that were a little more emotional, because you go through some of the emotions too, with these clients. And I had one that, she had been in her home for years, and I would really, for the most part, call her a hoarder. I've never seen so much stuff in a home. And then in the basement, she had gotten married and the husband had closed his business and he had brought everything. I've never seen so much equipment in a basement. And I'm thinking, okay, I've sold your home. How are we going to get this out?
Yeah.
And and she kept saying, oh, I'm going to get it out. And she was moving to a house a quarter of the size. And it was hours and hours away. And I'm thinking, this is not going to happen. She's, crying every day. She's beside herself. And I would spend hours a day over there helping her go through stuff. And again, is that my job? No. But did we get through it? Yeah, by the skin of our teeth. And it was exhausting, and my husband, again, he just would laugh and he said, so you made about 2 cents on that transaction, hour wise. And I said, I did, but you know what? She got through it. And that was the only way we were going to get her to the closing table. And it happens, it's life.
Yeah. Oh, see, let me applaud you for that. I'm sitting up here. I'm listening to you talk about it. I'm like, I
But I'm
can't
not
believe
the
you.
only one. I mean, all agents
True.
go through it. I mean,
True.
it's not just me. Any
Mhm.
good agent, we've all had to clean houses. We've all had to I've weeded yards. I've
Mhm.
had my son go mow yards. I've
Oh,
had my husband fix things for people because they couldn't afford it, and he's a contractor. And you do what you have to do when people need you and you show up.
Yeah, man, I gotta applaud you, Betsy. We gotta show
So
respect. Let me tell you, because we've had stories of agents going. When I say above and beyond, I sit here and listen. Like,
it
why did you
happens.
do that? But that's the, like you said, the nature of the beast. That's literally doing what you have to do to satisfy your clients, making sure that you show them, hey, this isn't about just me getting that commission check. This
Yeah.
is me literally making sure you're okay, you're
Yeah.
good.
It's not a 9 to 5 job. If somebody,
Nah.
we see people all the time get into this because they watch TV and they're like, I'm going to be like, the millionaire on TV that I was watching. And well, I wish you the best.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I would also like to be the millionaire on TV
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
being followed around, but it's not happening.
A lot of people don't see that work. You getting your family involved to help out too. And
Yeah,
then
everybody has
the marketing dollars, the photography, and then
all of
the
it.
extra work. Oh my goodness. Now that I
Yeah,
think about it, I'm like, oh my goodness,
yeah.
we need to be a pro. You need to get paid more. That's what
So,
I'm saying.
it is what it is, but
Right, right, right. I get it.
I enjoy it at the end of the day. I mean, there are days where I come home and I'm just like, and I'm done. I will not be answering my phone tonight at all.
Right.
But
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
most days it's totally worth it.
hmm So, with you being familiar with the Kalamazoo area and coming up and being born and raised in that area, pretty much a lot about the neighborhoods. I mean, obviously, being a real estate professional, you learn more, but just actually being a native,
Mhm.
you know even more. So, can you talk about or give us an example of how your knowledge of knowing these neighborhoods and knowing the area actually helped a client in real time connect with whatever they had in mind for a dream home or neighborhood?
Sure. So if I have a client, and you've always got to be careful with that because you've got to be
Correct.
careful about steering. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's always tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if I have a client that says, I want to be in more of a historic home with, original woodwork, something like that, then I know I'm gonna be looking in more the downtown area, Stewart area, um, around K College, things like that. I'll say maybe you want to drive around, see what you think of that area, that style of home. Um, if they're looking for a newer style home and they don't want any maintenance, then depending on what their budget is, I can, give them some ideas of can they do a new build.
Mm-hmm.
So I really try to get a list of what they're looking for and match it with their budget.
Gotcha.
Sometimes, a lot of times, their list does not match their budget.
Mm-hmm.
We all have hopes and dreams, and then the nice reality check.
Yeah.
So sometimes what I'll do is I'll show them, okay, this is what matches your budget. Now, this is what we can get closer to. Would you be willing? What do you want to give up? And so we'll kind of start eliminating from there.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, you have to make those adjustments, especially first-time home buyers. First-time home buyers may not necessarily know exactly what it's going to take to get that perfect home if they want that
Yes.
3-bedroom with the full finished basement, 2-car garage, big backyard, front
They
yard,
want it
and the
all.
fence. Yeah,
Right. We
like
all do, right?
whoa, for
Yeah.
200, like calm down. Let's
Right. Right.
kind of chill.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like I like that too because going through the home buying transaction myself, we're looking for duplexes, and
Yes.
sometimes it takes a knowledgeable agent to know the areas where duplexes are, because sometimes, I mean, they could be hidden. You don't
Yep.
necessarily know that they are a duplex, or you're saying, I don't see anything online on Zillow with any duplex available. Well, that's where the professional comes in, because they may actually know either the private sellers or just know that this is the area where duplexes usually are. So
Right.
just like to throw that out there. I love that expertise that you have as an agent. What about unforeseen issues? These usually come up during the transaction. Not all transactions are smooth, but I feel like the variable in most transactions are the inspections. You have any stories you could share with us where an
Yeah. So
inspection kind of pulled up
I
something?
I did. I just had one. And thankfully I've had a husband that's been a contractor. He grew up in a family that's from builders. He's very knowledgeable. So sometimes I can bounce things off him and say, hey, what do you think? I saw this. Or, we went through the process of building a home. We've done some flips. And so that's super helpful. So I feel like I'm a little more versed. And I've tried to build up a kind of a nice book of references of structural engineer and different people I can call, which I think is important. But I just had a house that had termite damage. It was old, but it's on the sill plate, which is what your house sits on.
Okay.
And on the front of the house, we didn't see it. We don't look for that kind of stuff when you're walking through the house and you're like, oh, sure, this house looks good. So we had to renegotiate the price. And so I'm reaching out to some other contractors, trying to figure out, sending them pictures. What do you think? Because that's a big undertaking. So it definitely happens. You get surprised all the time.
Yeah.
It's really important to have some home inspectors that are good about their due diligence and really checking on things and making sure they really look at the structure and integrity of a home.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. That's the one thing that's why I pointed out the inspection specifically, because that's the one thing that, you could look at the house, it looks perfect neighborhood or whatever the case may be. But the inspections are really going to tell you, like, you can have water damage in between the walls that you wouldn't necessarily know, or sewage damage or sewer damage or like you said, termites. These are the things you're not going to see with the naked eye. So having all of those inspections, let alone just an inspection in general, but having different types of inspections are very, very vital when it comes to that transaction. And
Yeah,
I'm just speaking as a nervous home buyer.
Well, absolutely. And thankfully around Kalamazoo, we didn't see it as much. I do sell some in the Grand Rapids area, which is a much hotter market. It got much more competitive than Kalamazoo even, which was crazy. And they were waiving home inspections left and right. I mean, you weren't getting a house unless you waived your home inspection, which to me, I think is wrong. I will not tell a buyer to waive a home inspection. I've had a few do it because they come from a building background. And I'll tell you what, they're going to sign an addendum from me saying I did not advise it, because I think you're opening yourself up to a problem. All these people that pushed clients, to potentially waive home inspections to get houses. These people are going to want to sell their homes. And I can't believe that they're not going to find some structural issues or some big ticket items. And for me and my clients, I don't feel good about it. Everybody's different, and I'm not knocking anyone. I don't want to have a buyer come back on me as a seller later and say, well, you didn't encourage me in getting that, and now I've got a $25,000 repair.
Correct. Oh my goodness.
And it's definitely going to happen.
Let me ask you, I don't think I've heard of that. I've heard agents say that they advise against it, but you said you have them sign an addendum, letting them know that, acknowledging the fact that you advised against this. Is this something that is industry practice, or is this
I
something?
just do it to protect myself.
I like that.
I just think anytime you can protect yourself, people, if they come back with a, $20,000 repair, who are they going to look to come back on potentially?
You right there.
You've got to be smart,
I like that. I like the way you think. That's smart right there. Okay. So speaking about legal things, have you had an issue or situation where you ran into a legal or a legal issue or zoning issues with the property during the transaction? And how did you get through it?
No, thankfully, knock on wood.
Okay.
I am a little bit unique in the fact that I do residential and commercial transactions. So I do handle a lot of zoning requests on my commercial side of things. So I wouldn't say I run into a lot of issues, but I've learned a lot about environmentals and phase 1, phase 2, soil, all kinds of things with that. I have dealt with townships on rezoning for agricultural versus residential. And just, again, the best, in my opinion, the best way to handle that is, okay, here's who I've talked to. Here's the date and time I documented it. Here's what they told me, as whether it's the buyer or seller needing to get something. Here's who you need to talk to, and you need to handle it. Because I don't want them, again, coming back on me and saying, but you told me they said I could do this. So I usually will get the ball rolling. If there's any forms that are needed, I try to do that for my clients. But, beyond that, I don't, make any promises or say, okay, I got it all done for you, because I don't want any miscommunication of, well, they thought they could do this and you told me this.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
or if somebody else takes the position, that might change. I've learned that in townships. So, these little townships, the cities, not so much. Townships, things like that. One person says one thing about building code, and yep, this building you can put that garage up. And then the next person says, oh, nope, that's not the right footprint. It includes your garage. Nope, it doesn't include your garage.
Oh,
so I don't get involved in what can or can't be done.
Yeah, that would just give you to run around and just be wasting a lot of time.
Yep.
I can see that right there.
Yeah.
Well, good thing you haven't come across that too often. I can see that just being just too much and a lot of trouble and taking us too much time. I want to hear your opinion in regards to obtaining a home in today's market. This is basically putting yourself in the position or the shoes of a first-time home buyer. So knowing what you know now, even as a professional, and the resources that you know that are available. If you are a first-time home buyer in the market today in 2023, what approach would you take to owning your first home? In your
Sure.
market?
So we've talked to our son about that. He'll be looking, it'll be a few years down the road. And so we were talking about that recently. If I had to do it, I would look for a multi-unit, live in, a part of it, because you get the tax benefit, whether it's 50%, 25%, whatever it is. And then you get to rent the rest of it and put that on your mortgage.
Absolutely.
I wish I had known that, when we were first buying. I wish someone had said, hey, you can do this, and then you can use the rent to buy a secondary house for your primary when you're ready. Everyone wants the dream of this big fancy first house. And again, build yourself wealth. That's what we preach to our children is, create yourself wealth that earns money for you, that you're not working for. And I think that's so, so important, and not enough people are doing it.
Yes. You officially won the closing table, Betsy. That was the correct answer. No, but listen, so on a serious note, I preach that over and over. I love to ask that question because I like to see where other people's minds are, where their mindset. Yeah. You can answer that question a million different ways. Obviously, there's no wrong answer.
Sure.
But when I hear that response, that's the $1 million response. That's the approach I'm currently taking right now. I've heard that a million times throughout the years since I've been doing my research. And when I hear other agents say that, I'm like, it's just reassurance. But then, like you said, if I would go back in hindsight, I would do this, but it makes so much sense. Like you have the availability to purchase a duplex, live in one end, or triplex, and then rent out the other one, have that covered, and then you can move out, refinance, and have it pay for your single family.
Yeah, and people don't realize you can buy up to a 4-unit with a residential loan. It's so smart.
Yeah.
To me, it's a no-brainer.
It's one of those things where you like, yo, it's so simple and it's available to everybody. Why isn't everybody doing it? You literally think, why isn't everybody? But then you have to think, I don't care about what everybody's doing. Let me take care of this myself.
Yeah, and not enough people talk about it. And I don't think, so many people are worried about keeping up with their friends and,
oh my goodness,
TV shows and, and it's, we just preach, live simply, live within your means, put money away. That's what we are trying to preach to our kids and their friends.
Hey, hidden gems here on the closing table that are in plain sight. And I'm glad you're preaching that to your kids and your son, by the way. Well,
Yeah.
we love that. And thank you so much for pulling up a chair to the closing table, Betsy. We appreciate you for dropping gems, giving us knowledge, and taking time out of your very busy day. At this time, if you have any last words and or want to tell people how to reach out to you, please do so now.
Sure. Thanks for having me. Betsy Stoneburner at Doorleg Realty. You can call me anytime or email me. I'm easy to get a hold of.
Love it, love it. Thank you so much again. We appreciate that, Betsy. And for our YouTube audience watching right now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, please do us both a favor and hit the like button, please. And thank you. Make sure you also share the content and subscribe to our channel. And if you are listening on Apple, Spotify, or any other podcast platform, please do the same. That's a like. Give us a like button. Give us a 5-star rating. And subscribe for our latest content. Betsy, I like to leave our audience with a question before they leave the chat, get their brains going. So this is for you, audience. In your own experience as potential home buyers or sellers, can you share a story that illustrates how an agent's focus on exceptional service made a meaningful impact on your decision-making process or overall experience? Don't talk about it now. Leave it in the comments below. Besides that, we'll talk to you next time.